What's up, YouTube fans? Today we're going to take a look at the Transart Metal T-Rex, or their version of a mass-produced scaled Transmetal Megatron. So this figure was had to be by G. Tony. Thanks for allowing me to take a look at this figure. It is a very shiny and very good looking. It's got a lot of nice paint on it. Transart is not a stranger to metallic paint. So you got that nice bronze metallic paint throughout, metallic purple with the eyes. You actually have the head in the backpack here, so you got the chest symbol. That looks really good. They did a really good job with that. Some texturing on the thighs. That darker purple paint down here. You got die-cast pieces here. That metallic purple there on the backpack, which we'll take a look at a little bit later. Overall, it's a really good looking figure. Now, to get him kind of configured into his proper robot mode, you're going to need the tail. So you actually get two. You get one for the beast mode, which is this larger one, and then you get this smaller one for robot mode. And this one actually has some mounting points for the arm. Or in order to get this on here, we do have to collapse the hand a little bit. So we're going to rotate it, fold the hand in, fold the thumb in, and that should be enough space. Now in here you have two little locking pins. So you're going to push them in and lock them down, and then we'll release them once we get them attached. There's two little slots, one on each side like this. So get that lined up with the slot. Alright, and there he is with his proper data arm. I did have to cut away because it is a little challenging to get these two pins over the edge. Once you get it on there, it's nice and secure. You got to have the hand folded up kind of perfectly. So I just want to show you how I have it. I have the thumb underneath, and that works. There are some scratches on this that right out of box. I had a couple scratches right here. So just be careful with the paint, but it really looks good. Got some nice ball joints at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 locations. So you can get it basically any direction, up, down, left, and right. You can rotate as well. You can't open up the claw here. There's a little port, and that is to use the blast effect here. Now this blast effect actually has a magnet built into it. The magnet is meant to turn on a light in his head, but they didn't actually include it. So I'll just show you if we pull off the face. There is no battery in this compartment. It's just blank. So I'm not really sure why they removed it, but there is no battery in there. But you can take this. This will plug into here. And it does have a little bit of trouble holding it, but if you get the arm configured in a certain way, you can have that blast effect. Now we also get an alternate piece here for the hand, so we can take this off the ball joint, and we can use this, which was the disc reader that he had in the one episode. So get that plugged in. There's a little opening and closing door. I have it open because it's actually kind of hard to open, but you can open that up, and then this is the disc. They have an incomplete disc. I think it would have been better if they just had a full disc, but I guess that's meant to allow you to spin it. I don't know. I think it would have looked better with just a solid disc, so that he has that sticking out as he's reading it. And we do get some alternate faces as well, but I wanted to show you what a beautiful head sculpt they have here. It looks exactly like it should, and very similar to the Beast Wars Megatron head. To change this out, you're just going to pull forward on this part. We're going to push the face inwards. It's really well done. And then you're going to pop in the new face. There is a peg on the inside of this, so just make sure you get that peg. Match it up, and then you can put this on. And now we have that smirking, smiling face, which looks pretty cool. And we also get the angry face, which my personal favorite. I think that looks really nice. I like how they painted the teeth there. I'm going to leave this one on there, but nice options for the face. All right, so let's go over his articulation. The head is on a ball joint. It goes side to side, down to there, up to there, and rotates all the way around. You can remove this. I'll show you a bit later the alternate faces that we get here. For the shoulder pads, they're on a hinge, so you can get it rotated and up and down. So really any direction that you want. These hands actually And the original one came with little rockets, so you could have like rockets off of his shoulder. I'm not really sure, again, why they've removed that, but you don't get the straight fingers anymore. You just get these curled ones. So I think it makes more sense just to leave it down and out of the way. But you can have that little effect if you want to. For the shoulders go out to there on a ratchet joint, rotate around, friction joint. You have a rotation at the bicep. We have a double jointed elbow, gets you pretty much the full bend. Is it single? Maybe single jointed, but because of the sculpt, you get the full bend out of that. You have a rotation at the wrist, in and out movement at the wrist, which is needed for transformation. The fingers are really cool. They're very realistic to the cartoon, but these three are connected together on 2 pins, and then the pointer is separate on 2 pins, so you can point. Thumb is on a ball joint that can go in and out, and a hinge, and then a second hinge for the lower joint, so you can get some nice poses out of these hands. There is a hand, same hand under here, but I did go over articulation on the claw already, or the tail. You have a waist rotation on a ratchet. It's a very tight ratchet. It doesn't sound great, but it works. You have ab crunch, basically down to there. It does work in conjunction with this piece here, so that they thought that through. Very nice. You can rotate this around and move it wherever you want. It makes most sense just to sit right there. This is the attachment for the tail for the beast mode, which we'll take a look at in a little bit. Legs go up to there, back to there. They go out to the side on a ratchet. Nice strong ratchets for these legs. Rotation at the knee at a ratchet. 90-degree bend at the knee. You have a toe tilt, forward and backward, and you can actually deploy the skates if you want to here in robot mode. It's really meant for the beast mode, but you can have him skating around. Really nice die-cast wheels there. There you go for his articulation. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Takara Tomy Masterpiece Optimus Primal. Towers over him, looks great. It's a very nice sized Megatron. It actually is a little bit taller, I think, than the Takara Tomy Beast Wars Megatron. So it's going to fit in nicely with the Masterpiece Beast Wars shelf. Either way, it looks great with Masterpiece Primal. Alright, now let's get this guy transformed into his beast mode. So first thing we can do is come to here. You can take the little notch piece and push those in. That'll allow you to release it. And we are going to use the bigger tail, so we'll just set this aside for now. We'll use that in a little bit. Take the hands and we're just going to keep them folded back like this. Same for this one. Rotate this. And we want to have this folded back. And the thumb, you can just kind of leave it on the side. I think that works. Alright, we're going to come to the shoulder pad. You can just open those up. We're going to get into the inside here. And by the way, before we get it transformed, you can use these as like little, you know, a booster pack or engine pack, whatever, so you can fly with this. Nice little effect there. Alright, continuing on, we're going to unplug this from here. It is a very tight connection. You're not going to feel good doing it, but you do have to unplug this. It does loosen up over time, but the initial time it's going to be tight because this is a painted surface going into this clip here. You set this down here. This piece is really like painted in this metallic, so it's easy to scuff up the paint. You can see there's a scuff right here on the top, so just be careful with the paint. Again, a lot of the scuffs are actually already in the box, so you do want to be careful with the paint. Alright, we're going to take these and unpeg these from the sides, and these can just fold down and sit out of the way like that. We're going to take this head and open this up. You can open up the neck, we're going to slide this down on this black piece here. And we can take this, fold this up. This has to clear this, so make sure you're clearing this little black piece underneath. It has to clear through the neck. This is going to come around and just sit on top of the head. And then you can take this and cover up the back of the head. So it looks like that. We're going to take these arms, you're going to fold inwards. You're going to fold at the elbow. And these are basically going to sit in here, just like that. Same on this one. Get this in, fold that up. And that's going to sit just like that. Then we're going to take the panels here, open those up, bring this up, and this is going to sit on top of these hands. And these are going to come together. It'll probably come apart as you're working on this, but this is basically going to sit right here. And if it's not sitting flat or it's not sitting flush, then you probably don't have these fingers exactly right. Right. So get this together and tab that in. Then we're going to take these panels here, and these panels are going to come down, and they're going to tab in back here. There's two pegs to peg them together. So you can get that, and make sure this is on top. Or so make sure this is underneath, right? There's a little slot for this tab to fit in, so make sure that makes its way underneath. This is, again, another very tight peg that's hard to remove because of the paint. So the first few times you do it is going to be tight. Then you're going to take this, and this is going to peg in right here. You just kind of get that lined up. And it's a little challenging to see, but you could do it. When we're done, it should look something like that. Lift this up. We're going to rotate the backpack to this side and the tail piece to the bottom. This is just going to sit down on top of his crotch. This is going to come to the back here. Make sure it's straight, lined up with the center here. Flip this over for now, and we'll take care of the leg. We're going to rotate the waist on the ratchet all the way around. And it's a very tight, oh sorry, you got to lift this up. Very tight ratchet. And this still stays on top of the crotch. You can take the legs, rotate down here at the hips. Make sure this is straight. And this is sitting up like this. I'm going to take this backpack, and this configuration is interesting. It's not lay flat. You really have to have it like this. So there's a triangle. So it should look like that. A little triangle. And then take this. There's a little peg right here that's going into a slot on the inside. Right there. So get that lined up. And peg that in. Same on this side, get that lined up, peg that in. You can fold out the hands, and these are on little mushroom pegs, so sometimes they come out, but not a big deal. Same on this side, rotate this around, and we'll bring his legs down. All right, next we'll take care of the tail. So come to the back here. You might be better off just opening up these, which will give you a little bit of room to work and get this tail attached. So open these up, come down to here, and this is a spring-loaded piece right here. So those are going to fit right here, just like the other tail did on the arm. Make these way around, and then there's 3 slots and 3 pegs. So get those lined up, get this pegged in. Then you can put the legs back down, and then you can close these up. You can leave these open if you want to, but they're meant to be closed. All right, and there he is in beast mode, and this is pretty badass. It looks really good. The metallic purple paint really stands out here, both on the sides and on the head. You got that red paint there, a little bit of lighter purple, nice painted teeth, nice painted feet, which we saw in the robot mode. The tail, larger tail, looks really good. Nice silver and kind of a bronze paint. Here's the back. We're all really well done. I think they kind of nailed the look of the cartoon here. I mean, Transart always does, but no different here. Let's go over the articulation. The head is on a swivel back and forth. You can get, not really an up and down, but on the head itself, right here on this hinge, you can go up and down on that. This is a fingerprint magnet, so I recommend wiping it down after you mess with it. But you can also open up the jaw, and the tongue is posable. You get a nice red tongue. That's really, really well done. Really impressed with the way they did it. Unfortunately, this version of Metal T-Rex doesn't include the light up feature. There's actually still a cavity for it, but it's not actually in there. So if you grab a spudger, kind of get this panel popped open, and if you look in here, there's just a hole. There's no actual battery there. So, I mean, there's no battery compartment. It's just a kind of a blank hole. So I'm not really sure why they removed it. Maybe they had trouble with it, or maybe to bring the price down. I don't really know, but I think it's fine without it. I prefer painted eyes. Anyway, arms rotate around on this joint, in and out on a disc hinge, rotation at the elbow on a mushroom peg. The fingers are on a ball joint, so you can move them all the way around. You can rotate, you can do anything you want. The original version came with, like I mentioned, those straight fingers, which are really like kind of guns or missiles. But in robot mode, dyno mode, these work well. Coming to the legs here, you can go back and forth on the legs. If you want a little bit more movement, you can open up this and just get the leg out further. That'll give you a little bit more space, and you can leave it kind of open if you want to. You get the same movement as you did on the robot mode. Forward and backwards, rotation on a ratchet. Single jointed knee gets you 90 degrees. You have a toe tilt and forward and backward movement there. Close that back up. On the tail itself, it can move all the way. Each of these are ball joints, so it can go down, up, side to side. And that ball joint came off. You can open up this tail for that effect if you want. Really good looking tail. As far as gimmicks, you can convert him into his skateboarding mode. Transmetal had these alternate modes where they were like vehicles. I don't know. I never really got into it, but you can come to here, fold this down. Really nice die-cast metal wheels there. And you can have the hands up or down, whatever you prefer. G. Tony was mentioning in the show, he did have them down and up at different times. I guess the toy, you put them up, and for the cartoon, you can have it down. But you have the option here. It does roll on those wheels. It's a little bit unstable, but it does work. And there's really nice quality die-cast pieces there. I do like the fans. The fans do rotate. They're done in this metallic purple. That looks really nice. And for a quick size comparison, there it is next to the Takara Tomy Masterpiece Optimus Primal. And we'll turn on his head here. And it fits really nicely. It's a really nice big dinosaur mode. And I think it's almost the same size as the MP Beast Wars Megatron. So it'll fit in nicely with a Beast Wars Masterpiece collection. So final recommendations on the Transart Metal T-Rex. I'm going to give this a 4 to 5. I'm going to recommend it. I really think this is a well done version of Megatron. There's a couple little bits that bug me. The arms, for example, the forward and backward motion really needed a ratchet. They put ratchets everywhere else except for that forward and backward. So sometimes if you've got a lot of weight on this arm, like you've got the blast effect plugged in here, it will kind of droop a little bit. So it'd be nice if they had a ratchet there. Other things, I don't really understand why they removed the light up effects in both the robot head and the dyno mode head. But I don't really need it. I was just kind of curious. Same thing for these. I'm not really sure why they don't give you the little guns there, or the rockets, whatever they are, to replace these little things, but no big deal. Those are really minor complaints. Overall, I think this is a really nice version of Transmetal Megatron, probably the definitive version, at least. It really does. They've nailed that head sculpt. They've got really beautiful paint, nice articulation. Accessories overall are pretty good. If you're a Beast Wars fan, this is a definite recommend for me. If you're not a Beast Wars fan, but you just like Megatron, this is a pretty cool version of Megatron. So that's really it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.